Hi there, I'm Claire Smallwood. I'm the Executive Director of SheJumps, and I'm here to teach you how to make friendship burritos today. So the story with friendship burritos is that a long time ago, I moved to Utah to be a ski bum. This was actually right when we started SheJumps, and I didn't have a car. So my friend Molly Baker would drive out of her way every day to give me a ride to the ski hill at Alta and Snowbird. And in appreciation for that, I would make her breakfast burritos that we could take with us, and then I would make extra breakfast burritos, and then I would give them to friends. And my friend Ree Wickstrom, who's an amazing female photographer, she actually coined the term that they were Claire Smallwood Friendship Burritos. Long story short, basically kept handing out these burritos to strangers on the mountain, wanting to make them happy. Everybody loves getting a breakfast burrito. And then basically Molly moved to Mount Baker and she started handing out these Claire Smallwood Friendship Burritos. And then the story goes that one day someone handed her a Claire Smallwood Friendship Burrito and she didn't even know the person. So here we are, let's make some friendship burritos. All right, what we need for burritos, we need some eggs. We need some potatoes. I'm gonna show you how to cut those so they cook just perfectly. We need an extra bowl to mix the eggs in. We need some shredded cheese, some salsa, and an onion, lighter for your camp stove, a little bit of olive oil, a pot of water, some tortillas, and of course a skillet. The first thing you want to do is get your water boiling so you can get your potatoes cooked. Those take the longest. And make sure this water is super salty. It's really important for the potatoes. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop our potatoes. So you want to make sure that you can use any kind of potato. I like to use Yukon Gold potatoes. I don't find you have to peel them. So if you're camping, I'd recommend something with a really fine skin like this, and you're going to chop it into thirds to start, and then into thirds again, and then into thirds again. And what you're going to end up with is a nice cubed potato. It's going to take a little bit less time to cook, and it's going to be nice and bite-sized for your burritos. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mix our eggs. So here's the trick. I have 18 eggs here. This should make a little more than a dozen burritos. So you can add or subtract eggs depending on how many burritos you want to end up making. My trick is, instead of cracking this on the side of the bowl, you want to do it on a flat surface, and that makes the eggshells go into the egg instead of flying everywhere. Got our boiling water now. I'm going to add the potatoes to the salted water. Just want to do this slowly. Don't want to make a big splash. Now we've got our potatoes are cooking. Now it's time to get our eggs going. So here's a couple of pro tips. Number one, you want to make sure your skillet is really nice and greased up. So you can use olive oil, you can use butter. I would not recommend using butter because it can burn, maybe a combination. We are going to be using olive oil today, and you want to get your pan pretty hot before you add the eggs in there. Okay, so our pan's nice and hot. So here's the trick with the eggs, is that it can be kind of messy. So what I recommend doing is working it in batches, and you just have to be really careful to make sure and scramble the eggs and monitor the pan. I'll show you what I mean. So we're gonna just add about half. It's gonna start to boil a little bit. We're gonna add our seasoning. So I'm adding probably about a teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm gonna add some black pepper. So we're gonna start moving this around. You can see there's quite a bit of oil in there, and that's a good thing, especially if you're camping. You wanna make sure you don't have a huge pain to clean up. So now we're gonna add the rest of our eggs. A tiny bit more salt. This is kosher salt that I'm using. So it might look like I'm adding a lot, but kosher salt is a little bit different than what you'd find in your regular table salt. All right, so now we're gonna start adding our cheese. If you're making a dairy-free burrito, obviously you can skip this part. We're gonna start adding some cheese. Probably about 2 cups. And then we're gonna add some salsa. I just like to add it straight in with the eggs. About a cup of salsa. And back to mixing. All right, well, I happen to have this little onion lying around, so I'm gonna just chop it up and wait for the potatoes, and I'm gonna add it in with that. So I'm just gonna cut the tip of the onion off. So I have 2 half onion pieces. So I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna just do a little julienne chop like that. Cut it in half this way, and then just do a nice little dice. All right, these eggs are gonna keep cooking in this hot pan, so I've turned the heat off, and some of this liquid will continue to evaporate. Meanwhile, our potatoes are looking like they're almost done, so we're gonna strain these, and then we're gonna toss them with this mixture of spices I've made, which is garlic powder, paprika, cumin, and salt. Okay, we have our cooked potatoes here. I'm gonna toss them in here right with this diced raw onion. Actually, it might seem a little weird, but you'll see it will continue to cook. So I put that in there. Give this a little shake. The heat from the potatoes is gonna give that onion a tiny bit of a cook. And then in here, we have all of our spices that I've mixed up. You can just, again, if you're camping, just kind of work with what you have. And we're gonna just toss these into the potatoes. And you can just give these a little shake around. This is a pro move. If you so desire, you can at this point decide to put these back into a pan and get them nice and crispy. I find that you don't really need to. It's still gonna have tons of great flavor, and it's gonna accomplish the goal it has, just to make someone super happy with the breakfast burrito. Okay, we're gonna start assembling our burrito. We're gonna get some potatoes. And remember, you just kind of have to think about how much you have here and then how many burritos you're gonna make. You can use the same utensils for both. You can use your hands, it's all good. We're gonna add some eggs. This is where you could add bacon or sausage or spinach if you want. I don't recommend avocado unless you're gonna eat it right away, because otherwise you'd have some kind of slimy avocado. We're gonna add a little bit more cheese, because more cheese is awesome. And then here's the real important part, is how you roll it up. So you kind of pull in 2 ends, and then you're going to kind of give it a little tuck and roll, and then finish it off. So you want to make sure you're kind of gentle with it. And then over here, we have our pan heating back up again. I'm gonna give it some more oil. And then this is really important. You put the seam side of the burrito down in the pan. And our goal here is we're gonna get these nice and crispy. All right, so this is what people have problems with. I don't think you watched this video to learn how to make scrambled eggs. Here's how you actually roll up a big old burrito. Okay, we got a pretty big burrito here. It's really important that you get the ends in there first, but then here's the tricky part. When you roll it over, you're kind of grabbing the rest of that stuff and tucking it under. You might have a couple little things fall out. It's all good, but just slow and gentle, and boom, perfect. Right into the pan you go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, tuck, roll, put in the pan. All right, we're getting them nice and crispy. So on these camp stoves, you have to be really careful about the heat of the temperature. As you can see, it runs pretty hot. So it's really important to be mindful of that. Claire Smallwood Friendship Burritos. Hi, thanks so much for watching How to Make Friendship Burritos with me. Please subscribe to SheJumps for more great videos about adventures in the outdoors, and leave a comment with your favorite extra burrito topping.